All right. Works. That fucks.
It's actually really good.
Is it?
Can I have the normal glass now?
Do that one first.
I mean, I'd be the honey. Cheers and welcome to From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Paxton Eugene. We have Clint the Mayonnaise Marauder Moses and the world famous Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos.
The dunk.
So we went with a pretty cheap cocktail tonight.
Yes, we're drinking what is known as the bee's knees. It is a Prohibition era cocktail, and it was kind of made like, it was one of those things we were using a lot of citrus and stuff, to make cocktails because they weren't, the water wasn't real clean back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they invented beer, am I right?
Yeah, but it's gin, lemon, and honey. Based back to the Prohibition era phrase, bee's knees, for everything that was the best. So it's the bee's knees.
And it only used to cost $1, I tell you. Hey.
And citrus and honey were used to cover the less than ideal smell and taste of bathtub gin. However, we are not drinking bathtub gin.
This is not bathtub gin.
This is
the mixer.
St. George gin. It's a distillery found in the early 80s in California. Yay. They make good gins. This is their Botanivore gin. So it's a little more botanical, which you tend to enjoy.
Yeah, but what's Botanivore? Do they put animals in it?
They have terroir, so
okay, gotcha.
Botanivore.
Terraform. Yeah, I get it. Like we're gonna do to Mars.
And then the piece.
Watch out, grabbing that bottle.
De resistance. That was a terrible idea. Is the Savannah Bee Company Tupelo Gold Reserve Honey from the 2021. It is bottle 29 of 2000.
And that was a birthday?
That was a birthday gift from Shay about a year ago.
R.I.P., my man. So with the $300 bottle of honey, and I don't know how much the gin costs, what do you think? I mean, if we had to pay for her.
If you were paying for this like at a bar, this is a $40 cocktail. Thank you, Shay, R.I.P., but Deej, thank you so much for making it possible for us to have this $40 cocktail here for a low price of much less.
Yeah, we're bougie around here, but holy moly. So cheers to him. Cheers to you guys. Thank you for listening.
I'll do the
speaking
beautiful. It's only served in a croup, but we didn't have any croupes. We're
You said coupe earlier. Is it coupe or croup?
Yes.
All right.
I think it's a coupe.
He was browbeating me earlier, like, you know what a coupe is? I was like, chicken?
Yeah.
Or if you overthrow a government and pronounce it wrong.
It's coupe, C-O-P, E-P, so I mean, like,
I believe you.
You know what the bee's knees are.
Speaking of honey, though.
Speaking of honey, so we want to ask, and we're going to put a poll on the Spotify at the thing to answer this. Saying honey or sweetie or even hun as a colloquialism type thing in the South, is it diminutive to you? Do you see it as diminutive? Do you see it like I'm talking down to you, or I'm like, hey baby? Like I don't say baby.
Yeah.
But baby's a little.
That's a big ask.
Like saying ma'am to those from New England, and they get mad about it.
Well, let's break this down in two parts then. Okay. Now, older women are going to sling.
How was the cocktail?
It's amazing.
Okay, thanks.
Older women in the South are going to sling around honey, hun, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To anyone, I've never really seen anyone take offense to that.
No.
But if they give the inflection like, oh, honey, you're dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah.
But, then it's followed by.
Like bless her heart.
Bless her
Exactly.
heart.
Bless her heart.
Ooh, if you hear a certain inflection on bless your heart.
Oh, yeah. It basically means.
You are in special
screw
needs.
you.
Yeah. So, but then there's the other things where a gentleman of a certain age will go, listen, honey.
Which is, again, a little diminutive.
That sounds diminutive. It depends on the inflection. But let's say he goes, well, how we doing today, honey?
And that right there is where I encountered this at work last week. I said, hey, what are you going to have, honey? And the woman goes, excuse me? And I was like, what are you going to have to eat? She goes, honey, though. That's a little forward. And I was like, oh, I'm from the South. We say honey down here. It's a term of endearment. And she said, well, I'm from the South, and we don't say that. And I said, Okie dokie. Well, ma'am, what are you going to have for dinner? Come back. Let me get a beer. I'm going to check her ID. Because before that, I went to my manager and told him, he goes, well, just don't say it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to stop saying it. I've been saying it for 20 years. It's subconscious.
I mean, I'll stop saying it to her because it's on my mind.
Not
right
her,
now.
but no, everybody else is going to get it.
It's muscle memory.
And I go, he goes, where's she from? I said, the South. He said the South. He goes, is she? I'm like, probably like Virginia or somewhere. Check that ID. Ring a ding ding ding. Virginia.
Which, by the way,
the South.
By the way, isn't the South.
Not really, no.
Kelly?
No.
Clint?
I mean, the Mason-Dixon line, I guess, is over Virginia,
That
right?
does not matter to me.
I don't consider Virginia the South, no. West
Ladies-
Virginia, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got a little more southern.
That's what. No matter
British.
where the geography is, that West Virginia is the South. Virginia is not.
No.
And we'll put up a poll on that too. Do you think Virginia is the South?
Yeah.
All right. So then on to the second part, ma'am and sir. Now you ran into something where you said ma'am or sir, and
I dated a girl that was from Boston. And
Okay,
she,
yeah.
She did not like it, and it was subconscious. Like she was at, she's in the other room. She's like, "Hey, what was that?" I'm like, "Ma'am," and she was like, "Hey, I'm not a ma'am. I'm a miss."
will you grab that for me? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, I'm not a ma'am. I'm a miss." And she would eventually get irritated about it. I was like, "Look, until when I was about 5-ish, if I didn't say ma'am to a woman, you got whapped." And you get hit enough when you don't say something. You know what you do? Yes,
You
say
start
it.
saying something. If I did not say sir to my stepdad, my dad,
Yeah.
my mother,
Sir and ma'am.
it was automatic. And the thing is, when you're 6 years old and you learn that, everyone else is an adult to you.
Exactly.
Now you're at an age where you're more of an adult than most other people. But now it turns into the Southern genteel,
Man.
niceness. I say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am.
I say it to 6-year-old girls, to 600-year-old women.
Yes.
Well, not 600, 88.
To Moses.
Yeah, to Methuselah. That old
Methuselah,
bitch.
yeah. So I run into big burly men. I go, hey, pumpkin, what you want? Just to break especially if they're looking like tough.
Especially at your bar, too. It helps break the ice.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but it kind of takes the guard down a little
And
bit.
this woman had resting resting honey face.
And by the way,
Puckery.
After the 10 minutes, we're bringing the F count back, people.
It's
Let's
coming
not
back.
forget that.
We're not
We
gonna
got
forget it.
Kelly.
Kelly's
Kelly's going
getting-
to help us bring the F count back.
Yes.
So I say, yes, ma'am. And some ladies will go, oh, don't call me ma'am. I'm not that old. And then I say, I'm from the South. This is what I do. And they go, it's okay.
Exactly. Because you and I don't sound Southern for the most part. I mean, we've got some words, but it's not, I have some moments, hungry, mayonnaise, orange, whatever, some stuff. But you don't, it's never meant to slight, ever. Ma'am, especially. Honey can be used slight, but it's hard to ma'am to make it a slight.
Exactly. And I've just never used, I know the woman species. And I've never been like, oh, honey, you're wrong.
I mean, I have probably to somebody at some point in time, but usually when I say honey,
not in the work situation.
It's always just to be like, hey, honey, what you want?
And so
girl.
the woman that took offense to you saying honey, age?
An actual 55 looking, probably 45 2-packs a day.
So when you told me, a tired
45.
A nicotine 45?
Yeah, nicotine 45.
Whenever you told me that story before, I immediately went to under 25.
And see that I would get, and that's somebody I probably wouldn't say it to. Just like there's certain people you just don't use certain colloquialisms with because they might not like it, so you just don't. But see, I say, "What you gonna have, girl?" to older ladies all the time because they like it. It makes you feel a little young. Oh, what's up, birthday girl?
And the younger, the more ma'am it's going to be than honey for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because a 25-year-old's not going to take offense to ma'am. Like, oh, I'm not that old. It's like, yeah, you're not that old. We all know you're not that old.
Yeah.
Ma'am is just
Calm down, ma'am. Calm down, honey, ma'am.
Well, that went out the window.
Look, from someone who's been told to calm down a couple times in his life this week today, I don't really say calm down very often because in the whole history of telling people to calm down, it doesn't really work very well. One of my managers,
You need to relax. That
like,
works.
He goes, you need to relax with this table. Take your time. And I was like, this is all day, every day, baby. I wake up like this. I go to bed like this. He's like, it seems like a lot. I'm like, how the heck do you think I feel, buddy?
Yeah.
It is a lot. It's a lot of
sandwich. Do you now let's say, all right, you're in your situation with the older-ish lady. She takes offense to that. You don't want to deal with it anymore.
No.
So you stop
I stopped, and I wandered back over.
Okay.
I wandered back, and but it took a minute. And the thing is, like, she wasn't gonna kill my Friday high. I was in a good mood.
Gotcha.
I ended up having basically what became one of my favorite tables of the month, probably of the year, maybe.
Yeah.
Got a middle-aged black lady. Hard to tell, 40 to 70.
Asian don't raisin.
Yeah, the black don't crack. And I honeyed her, no problem.
Yeah.
She, however, got a little honeyed up herself.
How about honey? That's cocktail. Good God.
Yeah, I mean, when I went 1/3 honey to 2/3 water, and it still was a very honey.
There's a reason it's 3 times as much or 10 times as much as other honey. It tastes
it's
like
a lot more dense. When I was pouring it, we were doing it. It was just like
we were making a reel earlier. And it was just, I mean,
I had to switch hands.
Heinz ketchup lost its erection watching that.
I was pouring Heinz ketchup in Alaska, and so she sits down. She's nice. She buys a couple next to them. It's their first year anniversary. Get them 2 glasses of sparkling on me. I'm like, hell yeah. It's her and a little tiny white lady waiting on one more. And of course, the usual third accompaniment: gay Hispanic man comes to join the party.
Of course.
So before
this is a great trio for a good table, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is gonna go one way or the other, and it went the right way. And so she has, before he arrives, 2 bourbon neats with a cherry in there, kind of like a light Manhattan. 2 Maker's Mark neats with a cherry. All right. He sits down and goes, I'll have a Long Island iced tea. She goes, you know what? Bring me one too. That bourbon is still, I mean, she hadn't drank much. I'm like, all right. So they proceeded to sit there for 2.5 more hours and have 4 Long Island iced teas each. So you're counting at home. She's had 4 Long Island iced teas, 2 Maker's Mark neats in like less than 3 hour period. Ooh. And she is lit.
Not you really.
I mean, lit. You like it?
You don't say.
You don't say. The LIG got her lit. But great tip from him. Then they end up opening the tab up again to get there's 2 more of those Long Islands, and that's what we get to 4. And she's like, we're going to stay another night. What are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, I'm going to Atlanta, sorry. She's like, let's do a group hug. I was like, oh, we're not allowed to hug people here. Oh! I loved them. I would have hugged just her.
Yeah.
But nobody else was hug worthy at the table.
Okay.
But they were all so lit. The other lady was drinking rum and Coke. She had like 5 of those.
Yeah.
I was like, look, if they start to fall into me, I'm going down.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to. I'll hug some people, especially once I get to know you, like if you're second or third time in, maybe. But first time, it's a rough hug. And when you're that smammered, I don't know where your hands are going to go.
I don't know where your hands are going to go. You know them ladies of that age with 4 LITs.
I told my husband my checkout time was Sunday and not tomorrow. He believed me. And
I never told him what my hall pass was because I haven't decided yet. But maybe.
So she goes, we have an Airbnb, but what's a good hotel near here? So I told her. Shut up. 2 hotels nearby. She goes, we're going to go get a room. And I was like, oh, well, here's the 2 names of these 2 hotels. And I was saying how close they were. And I said, look, this one's going to cost about half as much as this one. She goes, all right. So about 45 minutes goes by. I go, did you get your hotel? And she goes, come here a second. I go, did you get your hotel? She goes, we're going to just walk over there and talk to the front desk. And, man, if I hadn't have to be going out to Atlanta in the morning, I'd have gone over there and just kind of peeked around the corner and watched them try to be like, can we get a room?
Okay. So it's got to have 2 things. It's got to have a bed. I require a bed and a turlet. because I'm going to vomit.
I'm going to vomit. She was like, I'm going to come in tomorrow and see you. I was like, all you're doing tomorrow is throwing up, baby. You're not going to. And you had 4, I mean, I don't care what kind of Long Island iced teas and the 2 bourbons. Bruh. I mean, they ate a lot, but she didn't eat enough.
All right, so let me tell you when something like that backfires a little bit. I've had 3 situations where it was like, hey, I'm about to go. Could I just get a hug from you before I go? And I'm like, ma'am, we're not allowed.
Mike.
Ma'am, we're not allowed to do that at work, you know? And then one time, there was a girl, and I'm sort of aloof if women are paying attention to me, like romantically at the bar when I'm working. Even if I'm not that busy, I know everyone's drunk, and if you can make anything out of anything. Like, oh, she likes me. She ordered a drink. You know, so I just never, I'm not the one that's like.
She called me honey.
And she goes, and she wasn't unattractive, but she was drunk. And she goes, I really just want to kiss you right now. And she climbs up.
Onto the bar.
Not like knees onto the bar, but stands up out of the chair, hands on the bar. I was like, honey, I would, but we're not allowed to do that at work.
While all the while there's a shirtless man running around the works there.
While, yeah, with a hat that says "Show me that butthole." Meanwhile, the other bartender's getting a hangy over by the trash pile.
Honey hands, we call it.
We love engaging with our listeners.
We do. In that, we've got is we'd like to do some shout-outs for everybody. We got some shout-outs this week.
Well, let's open with a big one. Jason Cox, my buddy, used to be in a band with me. He's got engaged, and she said, yes,
honey. Yes, honey.
So congratulations, you guys. Really love them. And,
to Jason, and you're going to say her name, or you're just going to put that on the outskirts there?
We're saving that for the Patreon.
Shout out to Caitlin Burns. Happy birthday. Heard you had quite the festival at her restaurant last night, Bubba Gumbo's. There was like their
happy birthday
Christmas party was last night or Saturday? Saturday night. Yeah. I was sorry, baby. I was out of town in Atlanta. More on that later.
You could have heard it in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
He's getting married to Wolverine.
Nice.
No, we love Logan.
I was like, what? Thing is, if you had said her name, people were going to be like, what?
No, yeah, I was trying to let it steep for a little bit. And I was like,
her name is Logan, which is also the first.
I wanted to say Wolverine.
Do you know what Wolverine's real last name is?
What?
Nothing. Just Logan.
Okay.
Just Logan.
No, I wanted someone to pop out with the Wolverine.
Sorry, honey.
I've tried to do a couple bits at work. I would be like, hey, an employee told me you got bit by an owl.
Oh, yeah?
And no one said who.
Nor did I.
Yeah, but shout out Caitlin Burns, Bubba Gumbos. It's her birthday.
Shout out to our newest Patreon subscriber, our farthest away Patreon subscriber.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Billy from Britain, across the ocean.
Yeah.
I was like, it popped up. I was like, wait a minute, what does that symbol mean? Those pounds.
Pound sterling, baby.
Pound sterling. So thank you, Billy. We love you, and we're glad you're still listening around to us.
And so we also had a few topics the other week with Travis Jowdown from the Hot Grits podcast, and he put us on to the knowledge of there's some Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of, we were just talking about women and how sometimes they can feel like they're being spoken to diminutively, but also they would like to know if the gentleman that they might be dating or might want to engage with is it
a scumbag, a dirtbag, or if he's
married,
seeing somebody else, or
married, or says he has 2 kids when he has 1, 2, 3, 4,
5 kids, which is a weird lie. Why just say 5? I mean, I guess you're just like, hey, we can all fit in a sedan together.
If you have 2,
you can all fit in a sedan together. That's what it is. I mean, I don't have a minivan. 5 is either an expedition or a minivan, though.
So we have an insider.
Surprise, it's a girl. Her name, you'll never effing know.
Ever know.
So we asked her kind of, give us the basics of this from the perspective of someone who's in this group and another group. More on that one in a minute. But basically, her reasons were to join was that they've been talking to a guy on X app and they haven't met yet.
These are the reasons that a woman would join the group.
And what the group is mostly used for.
Dating app.
Talking to a guy for a while on whatever dating app and they haven't met yet. Hey, what do you think about this guy? I know him. They've been dating somebody and they're like, wait a minute. Something's not right here. He's a little shady at times to see if he's seeing somebody else or if he's just lying in general. And then the other one, their ex/baby daddy/ occasional boo thing got caught cheating, and now she's blasting him on the internet.
Oh, so it's the pre-warn. It's like, hey, this dude cheated on me.
Or just, hey, see this guy? He cheated on me.
Yeah, unsolicited, but it's like, hey, just to let you guys know, without them having to ask.
And so she said the main posts are like, a T or a red flag with their, with the person's name and picture. Some of the comments are like, run, or my friend was dating him, he was married, or hey, good guy. Or just posting this as a warner, serial cheater, do not date, flag, name, all that stuff. Story about abuse, manipulation, cheating.
And let's talk about age demographics.
So they said in the group, for the most part, most of the men they're talking about are under 30 or over 50. There's just a lot in the middle. I don't know if that's because a lot of those guys are on their second marriage or committed, or I'm not sure. She said it just wasn't.
Or if it's the women on
it doesn't see a lot of that bracket.
But maybe the women on the page are of that under 30 and over 50 age, possibly.
Yeah, but I would think even girls under 30 are dating guys over 30. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty regular thing. But, but now there's even a new group that lets you just vouch for their exes. Hey, here's an ex we just broke up whatever ago. This is a good dude, and we just didn't work out between us. Just on notice, in case you're wondering about a guy, this is a good guy, which is dope.
That's pretty fucking dope.
Isn't it? Write it down. 1 for P. Did you? I was like, why are you staring at Kelly? Like you want to?
No, I wasn't staring at Kelly. I was looking
he called you out on this Facebook page.
Yeah. No, I was. If you don't know, a little inside baseball here. How the sausage is made. YouTube will throttle your.
If you say certain words in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They got an algorithm. The computer goes through it and it's like, hey.
But we're bringing the fuck count back because by popular demand.
Every time, baby.
Does that count? Okay.
Every time you say the word.
Every time? Okay.
And so, like, basically, like, and one other one, which is going to lead to something else here.
Yeah.
Is they take pictures from the Georgia Gazette arrest page and put them on there and are like, here's all their charges. This guy is this. Also, he does this. Basically, when it's a guy involved in like physical violence or something. Criminal
they're not like, oh, he burglared
criminal
a house.
Trespass is often associated with a warning, a bond of some sort. More on criminal trespass and breaking bonds in the second half.
But continuing with Facebook groups.
Welcome back. The arrest page. So after I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, it was gone for 4 days. Now it's back. Pictures are back again. Arrests are back again. Now every photo's got a different kind of cover on it, and they're kind of going a little light on some stuff, I think. But it seems like every mugshot's getting on there. Some of them are, then they're catching up before they were gone for a little while. They're supposed to be like, hey, this was months ago. Or a month ago. So you still got arrested. And so, yeah, it's, I'm glad. I mean, it's a nice part of my day.
If I could look at Clint's breakdown of his screen time and where he spends it.
Like what exactly page I'm on Facebook?
Yeah. I would
Instagram?
say at least once a day, there's probably 10 to 15 minutes just on the arrest page.
Oh, no, I can read fast. It's just...
Well, no, I just mean... You probably visited a couple times.
Here's a pro tip for you people. If you click on it on Facebook, you get 3 free views a day. Then you have to subscribe to this page.
Of course, Clint knows
or
that.
You just delete the cookies on your browser on Facebook, and you can do it as many times as you want every time you do it. Shout out to Rob, who was like, nah, I'm too lazy for that. I was like, it does take a couple seconds, Rob. You're right. Might wear you down, honey.
He's like, I got money, honey.
You're damn right.
Well, continuing on to other Facebook groups. I mean, this is a very Facebook-heavy first half, and but I'm glad.
Yep.
So
showing our age.
There's a Facebook group on the internet. I don't know if you knew that. That's where you find those.
You're gonna get the cricket sounds. Yeah.
It's called Bartending Memes Unfiltered. Now, I don't participate in this group very much because if you want to talk about a toxic group about your fellow industry member, here's what my last post a year and a half ago, I wrote down, it was like a little, like it was a bit of a script. It said, hey, how you doing? Other person says Bud Light. I say, oh, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the topic we hit on this, yeah.
So we talked about that. And then they start attempting to flame me in the comments. Like, if anyone ever said that to me, I'd slap them right in the mouth. And it was these people who work at bars where the guys probably do slap these women in the mouth if they don't get them their Bud Light right away or whatever their order is right away. So I avoid the group.
We're going back to West Virginia again, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. So I avoid the group for the most part because there's not many teams.
The community is not nice.
It's not a community. Now, I understand.
It's like Twitter on there.
You can meme on shit and you can dunk on people and you can fuck with people and you can bust their balls. I was trying to get them. You can bust their balls and everything, but there's just sometimes it doesn't seem like a community. Well, the community came together. Mm-hmm. So I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see that people are just flaming and slaughtering this guy, Mike Bastiach or some shit like that. He writes just a text post, and it says, if you free pour at my bar, you don't have a job anymore.
He's the guy that previously had asked, hey, who has any questions for a restaurant GM? That same guy, isn't it?
Maybe.
I think it was him, and then he was like, fine, because you don't have any questions for a restaurant GM. I'm going to leave this group. People don't want to talk to me. They're being mean.
Actually, it was, I'm a GM at a bar. If you free pour, P-O-O-R.
Free pour. Okay.
By the way.
You get the pours out of jail?
Yeah. You won't have a job at my bar. The internet goes wild.
When there is when you're talking shit and you're getting dragged and you make a grammatical error, a spelling error at that, woo, baby, like
buddy.
The thing is, it's unfortunate because it then voids like what you're trying to say because they're like, get him, dunk, 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 dunk.
So it got reversed on me. Reverse Uno card. So I make a post. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is too good. So I didn't notice that he spelled it wrong because I was watching other people's reactions to it. So I get to the bar, I write free pour on 2 bottles.
Like
and
free on one and pour
free
on
one, pour on the other.
Pour in the appropriate way.
Yeah, P-O-U-R. And I said, it's pouring rain outside because it was.
Damn, you could have doubled up.
That's what I know. So I said, it's called the free pouring rain cocktail, whatever, today only. The first 10 comments were P-O-O-R,
The
asterisk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was poor form of me not to. Yeah. And then one guy
and
goes,
you took. That's how you block the dunk. You take it.
You take it. You do not flash back. Unlike Gentleman Mike. Anyways, so this thing I posted. I put my phone down for 5 minutes. Opened it back up. It barely worked. Springs were popping out of it.
Because I saw it probably 45 minutes after you posted, because I was on the way back from, I was just finally getting in the car to come back from Atlanta, more on that later. Yeah. And I was like, oh, look at this little hot one here.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of interaction, but about 60.
A lot of it was, I think I had to figure out what the pour part was.
Right, yeah.
And then now that I'm getting all of them, I'm like, God, you could have been like, it's pouring rain.
Yeah, I know. But I'm glad I didn't.
The punter in me, really.
I'm glad I didn't, though, because that even drove more engagement. So I found two things. One,
if you find that post on bartending memes that filtered, somebody said something about him having a podcast. I like those. I like that post. I don't know.
The two things I learned. Number one, people love the Tito's and vodka shirt.
Yeah, you were aware that he was a vodka shirt.
I wore it on purpose. And some people were like, I bet he pours a mean Tito's and vodka. I was like, I free pour that son of a bitch, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that I learned.
There's not a jigger in the house. Like a
well, that's racist. The other thing I learned was.
Come on, they're poor.
The other thing I learned was there's another Paxton out there on this Facebook group.
There's two of you?
All right. I've never met another male Paxton.
Am I calling the wrong one all the time? That's why he's not answering. I'm calling you.
I've never known another male Paxton. This is a female Paxton, just like every other Paxton I've ever met. Paxton Owens on Facebook. We became Facebook friends, and she said, well, now we have to figure out who the coolest Paxton is.
Ooh, a pee-off. I like that, honey.
It was peering rain.
I know. It's a pour-off.
But, yeah, so I just haven't posted there in such a long time. But I got more response from that than like things I've worked on for 10 years. My novel, 2 likes.
I know. It's 'cause you haven't responded to either one of those likes, have you?
Well,
this was the most interaction I've ever seen him have with any kind of
post. I made it a point. Like anything that anyone said, like, even if it was dirt.
It was like, I was like, is Duke MacArthur back? Because it's liked so much.
So now.
The Paxton pour.
Now, to continue the lore, the unfortunate part of it is this guy, Mike, he goes, I'm leaving the group. You guys are toxic, whatever. It's like, bro, you put this on yourself. So then he continues to post. Then he posts something today, and it was like, I've heard all the slings and slaughters and slurs and this and that, and you guys will never be successful. And as I read this paragraph, I was like, God fucking damn it. This dude is doing a bit, and he trolled the fuck out of all of us.
So do you think he was doing a bit, or he was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a bit because I got dragged so hard. Because I was reading some of it, like last night, it was like, where does he work? Someone was like, is this Riverside Bar? Then it was like, he's
between jobs.
No, between jobs. The other one was he's the front of the house manager of a pancake food truck. Or something like that. And I was like, front of the house manager of a pancake food truck. That's hilarious. You're the only employee in there.
All right, so here's my idea on that.
Oh, the pancake food truck? Because I'm in.
I think it wasn't a bit to begin with.
Yep, I think
because if it was a bit, he would have started doing the pushback much not the pushback, but the leaning into it.
I want to know what this guy looks like. I mean, I got a really good idea. I'm pretty. I mean, look, we've got a really good idea for sure.
Yeah,
he's definitely out of shape.
He looks like
or he's on steroids. It's one of the two.
He's not on steroids. He looks like a budget Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore.
Okay.
Without the gym, the tan, and the laundry.
And he's also poor.
He's actually
literally, figuratively, metaphorically.
He's actually poor. Yeah.
He's poor. If you free pour my bar, here's the thing: if your restaurant or bar has the rule, you use the equipment, the jigger, then you use it. If you don't have to, you don't. Some bars are like, hey, free pour this top shelf stuff gets the jigger. Yeah. That's how it works in most bars. And when I worked at nicer bars, and we had some very fine liquors, you definitely did measure out because it's such an expense.
Yeah.
But when I'm pouring, a Tito's and vodka, I'm just free pouring the Tito's and the vodka.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it conceptually. I was like, all right, if you're the GM at the Pancake House, do you put a jigger on the syrup that stops it from coming out so fast? Because here's the thing. If they did that at your bar that you already had pre-set up with the jiggers that they would have to be physically pulling it off, then yes, you would be reprimanded for that.
So let me ask you this. There's some restaurants or bars or whatever, any establishment that has a bathroom you go to, sometimes when the the censored paper towel thing.
Yep.
Sometimes you get a nice enough piece, and sometimes you get like the smallest piece. And setting those to a smaller piece of paper is the most cheap ass move.
That's
possible.
a setting?
It's got to be, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, if the technology is there to just swipe.
I'm guessing. So,
And look.
while we ponder that,
Yeah.
I have a guy we can ask. Who's going to be my...
It's the quote of the week.
It's going to be a weekly thing, apparently. Shout out to Mayor-elect Brian West.
Oh, man.
But was interviewed about the people that... So Orange Crush has been a thing you've heard about. If you've been listening to us, if you're from here, not from here, wherever the hell. We've talked about Orange Crush quite a few times. And it's come up now. The people that are quote throwing the event are finally asking for a permit. We've been begging them to do that. Then somebody is responsible for things, and then they can help make it a bigger event, or make it a better event with things to do instead of just being on the beach or being drunk. Like Pirates Fest has all these little booth stuff to go to, and that's what the community has said. City council.
We
and
need
Brian,
someone on the hook for this shit.
Yeah, but Brian's saying, which is the right thing, is if we want someone to make this just more than just here's the one thing, go to the pier. Have some other things to do. Have some other events. So people have something to do instead of just drive around in circles.
Sell airbrush T-shirts in a booth. Make a booth for whatever.
Yeah, have a guy drawing pictures of you. I don't care.
Yeah, caricature.
But he was pretty nice about it. But he said, which is definitely the best quote we're going to have this week, is he goes, I made a commitment before I even decided to run for mayor. I made a commitment in a podcast that this wasn't going to happen again under my watch. And Wes said, and I meant that. We're not going to have an experience like we did last year. Thank you, Ryan, for
Thank
saying
you, Brian,
that.
for at least
We're
saying
not-
podcast.
And such a, for saying a podcast.
Close enough.
Close enough. It works.
But you know what? He's in politics.
If someone does their research and Google's Brian West podcast, guess what pops up?
So we did that the other night. We're like the top 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Finally. I thought that the other Mayor West was going to get us from Family Guy. But I like what he says, and I meant that we're not going to have an experience like we did last year. That's what we don't want. That was the worst thing ever. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Mayor-elect, our buddy. No big deal.
No big deal. When we come back in the second half, we have some actual crimes to talk
Boy,
about.
we got some crimes. I've got an update, and I'm just going
Cock-a-doodle-doo this crime.
I'm just going to say, vroom, vroom, the Porsche guy is back on that escalator.
Oh, honey.
Hey guys, Paxton here. I hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, there's a few simple things that you can do that will really help us out. Number one, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever, you can drop us a rating and a review if you haven't already. Positive or negative, we'd love to hear from you. And the more ratings and reviews that we receive, the more we'll be put in front of new audiences. Also, if you listen on Spotify, you can easily share episodes to your Instagram stories. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You might not be. And finally, why not shoot us an email with any service industry or just general stories that you'd like us to share? We always love hearing from you, and we love using your stuff. The email is FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you, and enjoy the second half of the show.
I don't know if it's the honey or the gin, but something.
It's a little. The bees are a buzz, is what is going on here. I told you it's behind my ears a little bit. I mean, even my pee tasted like honey.
My legs are itching, but I am wearing man spanks. So.
You are wearing man spanks. Thank God.
I mean, I'm trying to.
And man does not make me want to spank you.
Modesty over here. Hold on,
Little
let me
less
fluff before
modesty,
you put
really.
the camera on me.
Doctor Skin.
Speaking of some fluffing, the Falcons' feathers needed some fluffing this weekend. I went to my first Falcons game since 2019, I think. Definitely not 2020 because something.
Corvette.
And so Corvette.
That's good. Come on, COVID. That was good. Corvette.
Crickets.
Who?
There we go.
2 out of 3 here, buddy. Don't fuck around next time. Up. Fuck count. Damn it, that's 2.
That's 2, motherfucker.
I'm coming back. Damn, that's one for you, though. All right. So, what the fuck, Atlanta Falcons? You guys.
Kelly's arm's going to hurt.
You're just blowing everything. Like, it was the Falcons-Bucks game I went to on Sunday. Shout out to my buddy V for getting us tickets to the game and a whole bunch, just being a genuinely good man. Call it an early birthday present for me because don't give me nothing else. I went up there Saturday with me, he, and his son. Got his daughter on the way. Went to meet some friends for dinner at a restaurant called Rumi's. It's a Persian restaurant in Atlanta. Our buddy Darius, who's half Persian, has gone there before. V's gone there before a bunch of times.
So he's the good plug on a Persian restaurant,
And,
I would imagine.
and with Persians, you know what you need? A good plug. And so we had dinner at 10 because it took us forever to get up there, and which is just fine. I don't mind eating late. And so, an amazing meal. I can't pronounce what I had, but it was great. We had a Shirazi salad.
What is Persian food? Is it like kofta and stuff like that? Like lamb and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of lamb, beef. We had chicken. Some of the best chicken wings I've had, like fire grilled chicken wings marinated in like yogurt and cumin and some other spices.
Oh, yeah.
We had 3 kinds of hummus.
Yogurt is Middle Eastern
They brought us
buttermilk.
2 little baskets of bread, and I was like, "What is this? This is just for the kid."
You call
that?
that
His son's
bread?
16 years old. Like he's gonna be putting back some bread.
Yeah.
And because it was me and his son on one side of the table, I was like, "This is the bread side." The 2 ladies and the other gentleman are not gonna be breading like we are. But man, honey, we got into that bread.
We be bread.
We be bread, and we breaded it up.
We be bread.
And so, go home. Some other stuff happens. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Oh
I got
my
it, Kelly.
God!
Oh, you got it.
We can.
We lost a camera, but that's okay. It's an audio podcast
Yeah,
too.
it's
Keep
an
going,
audio
Clint.
podcast mostly. So, wait,
Lick the bottom.
slipping and I'm falling, and I can't get up. Do you want to just come right back?
No.
Okay.
As long as he turns the camera towards you and not towards himself.
I mean, look. Let's take a break.
That's fine. Go. This is good. This is good content.
This is good. Yeah, for those of us can't see Kelly fumbling with the camera. It's facing towards himself. Anyways, the Falcons did a lot of fumbles. We go to the game the next morning. I get up. I have my first waffle of the year, I think.
Oh.
Go to the hotel breakfast bar. They got a waffle maker.
A Persian waffle?
Wow, Kelly!
Kelly's man.
We're back.
Kelly the
Man,
producer.
perfection, Kelly. So my first waffle of the year, I think. Oh, just amazing. I also stashed 2 breakfast sandwiches to eat later. I didn't eat them. Go to the game. It's a little chilly outside. If you're in this area of the country, there was a bunch of storms coming through, so it kind of rained some Friday night
Yes,
or
it
Saturday
did.
night when we were up there. A little slippery when wet. And so we go to the game. I drink a little bit before the game, a little bit of tequilas. It's a little chilly outside.
Tequila, cha-cha-cha.
We go in. It's 64 degrees. Come out, it's 44 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And windy. And so it was a boring game till the fourth, like late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Falcons lost the game. They blew it. Well, yeah, that's their story. That's not as important as some other things in the story, which is the guy behind us who was about 350, 400 pounds. We were up on the rail because we bought good tickets on like the 200 section, so we're on the rail, so I can't move my knees more than a 90-degree angle, and I was like, this is untenable for me. So I was like, no one sits back here, I'm going to jump back here. So halfway through the first quarter, I jump back there. I sit there until like halfway through the second quarter, I go to pee, come back. Here's this guy, this massive man, asleep. I wasn't gone more than 10 minutes.
He was all tuckered out from the walk up the stairs.
There's no way. I think it took him. I think he got into the building when the game kicked off, and it took him that long to get up the damn stairs.
Third quarter.
So
I'm here.
Before I can get a good video of him, he goes, "Oh, what quarter is it?" friend goes, "Second quarter." I've been sleeping for a while.
Quart of beer.
So halftime, we go get some food, come back, and guess what? He's back on the sleepy escalator. He's passed out. So I'm like,
That's the most expensive hotel I've ever heard of.
yeah, right? So I get a good video of him, and then I point at my friend's daughter, and she's looking at me like, what the? And I'm like, so I show her the video because I can't be like, this guy behind us is passed. And he is, arms folded, snoring, honey. Snoring. And he finally looks at me and goes, what quarter is it? Again. He slept through the whole third quarter, which... Good for him because it was pretty
missing
boring.
much.
He wasn't missing a whole bunch, but it was it was fine. We get out there. Shout out to my cousin Kevin. I go to his car to pick up something I left in ice pack I left in Athens. It is 44 degrees. The wind is blowing 25 miles an hour.
Bit wet.
I'm dressed for the weather. Nobody else is, so I'm like shielding us as we go down the escalator to walk to the middle of the field. My cousin, we get there struck. He's like, I'll unlock it from here.
You were back on the escalator.
Yes, I was. We get down to the Home Depot field, which is just an open field. They're all dying. I'm like, well, hide behind the truck from the wind shear. You should have worn a hoodie like I did. And finally, I'm like, my cousin opens the truck from his phone and goes, I go, get in. Everybody get in. I was like, can you take us to the car? He goes, yeah. I'm like, thank God. And they're in there just like.
Oh, so your cousin was there and was able to shuttle you.
He and his,
basically.
and his son came to the game. It was his son's first game. His son's like 6 or 7. So like his son popped on my lap. The 3 of them were in the back. We got in the car.
There you go.
And got out of there. On the way in, though, I took what I'll just call a turnstile injury to the thigh. I'm a little tipsy. And he's just scanned all the tickets 6 times. So I go, I'll go first. And I slam my thigh in the turnstile, unmoving by the freezing cold, I suppose. I've still got I've got a bruise about that big.
Wow.
It is not what I wanted to have happen to when I walk into the game. And I'm like, ow, ow. Ow.
So you like enter too early and it doesn't reset?
Yep, I hit it right on the
latch off. Yeah.
Surprisingly, I tried to go do something too fast. I know that's weird to think.
Weird. Yeah, very unlike you.
But you know what was really fast? It was after dinner on Friday night. It's raining. We leave this nice restaurant. We had a big full meal. I mean, I am stuffed to the brim. They do a lot of really good rice. And we're walking. We're in a very nice area of Roswell, Georgia. I mean, there's Lululemon, Apple Store, Tesla on the opposite corners restaurant we're at.
That's
okay?
how you know.
You're in a baller situation here.
Yeah, that's how you know.
So a lot of the thresholds outside of the store, the entranceways have fancier entryways than what the city sidewalk is.
So like tile,
and maybe some kind of marble
Marbling,
stone.
yeah.
And we hear a huh, and I turn around and his son is Scooby-Dooing. I mean, it's everything. Full split, falls down, and I'm like, "Did you hit your head?" He goes, "No." I'm like, "Good." And we just start dying. Like, today, I was trying to do abs in the gym and was like, "Ooh, oh yeah," and I was doubled over.
Oh wow,
bees knees slapping, bro.
Yeah.
It was the funniest shit in the world. And we're like, "You're okay?" He's like, "I'm okay." I'm like, "Look, man, I appreciate this because I'm gonna laugh before I fall asleep tonight." And I sure as shit did. I was like, he fell.
Oh, so you had to make sure the kid didn't hit his head first. He's like, head? No, look at this
guy. And so on the way to the Falcons game, we're walking uphill in the rain. And I'm like, watch your step. And it's kind of slippery right there. He's like, damn, like you're never going to let
Already
this
in
down.
concussion protocol.
Yeah. I mean, we're right next to the stadium.
That's exactly what I said. It's a concussion protocol. Look at Kelly there reading my mind.
Speaking of kids falling, and thank you for bringing that up. So yesterday at work, we had Santa on the deck. Now, the weather was a bit.
That's mean he's at the bat next or?
Huh?
He's at the bat next?
Yeah. Santa's on the. He wasn't on deck. He was on the deck.
The deck. Oh, okay.
But when I get to work, so it's not raining yet. It's a little bit of drizzle. I pull into the local Choose Mart. It's our convenience store. With my windows down, I walk in to get a pack of smokes. By the time I come back out, it's like I went through a car wash with my windows down.
Dude, that storm was big.
It was torrential. So I get to work. And no one's spirits are soured. The rain cuts. We have a wet deck. Santa comes from out of the tent. He gets up on the stage. We have a snow machine. But apparently the snow machine, the quotation snow, is made out of Dawn dish soap or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because talk about the ice capades, brother. You've never seen so many kids and adults fall in the same place. And about 90% of them, I was like, aw. And about 10% of them, I was like,
hell yeah. Take that, honey.
I'm glad you fell. So in that.
So you laughed at Mike 10% of the time?
He never fell. He never.
God damn. Teeter-totters, but it don't fall over or whatever.
Weeble wobbles, but they don't fall down.
He is a weeble wobble. I've ever seen one, too.
So we have a young lady that works in the kitchen, and she has a daughter that works there every so often. Like
just helping out for free because you can't pay a child.
Yeah. Saturday and Sunday mornings. And this child is outgoing, funny.
Yeah, I met her, and she was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Huh?
Hello, little adult.
Yeah,
I am Clint, Moses Marauder Mayonnaise." Yeah, I said that right.
Yeah.
So I've seen her a couple weekends, but it's typically only from about 4:30 to 5:30 because she gets off work.
Yeah.
By the time I get there. But she was staying for
Clocks
Santa.
out.
Huh?
She clocks out.
Yeah, she clocks out.
Ooh, long day.
But she's staying for Santa this time. And she goes, she comes up to me. We started doing the little fake boxing. I was like, I want to be a part of this kid's life.
Oh.
Because like
Finally, you're saying that.
Yeah.
You want to be part of my life? I'm a kid.
Fuck off. But so I want to engage the kid because the kid is smart and funny.
You want to encourage her continued engagement.
Yeah,
Yes,
her name's
I
Oksana, and her mom's name's Amy. Both great, folks. So I don't know, this might get her in trouble, but she goes, "Did I see Monster Energy drinks back there?" I was like, "Yeah, you did. Do you want one?"
You let a child drink a Monster Energy, a whole one?
All right, I didn't say, "Do you want one?" I said, "Yeah, I thought I saw some back there." And then guess what? The kid's on the escalator got a Monster
That kid
Energy.
didn't escalator, it was flying.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I can't drink a Monster Energy drink. I can't drink half of one or I'll
All right, so
I'll sound like an escalator.
So she comes out and she goes, "I love Christmas," right? So I start doing the bit with her.
She's pulling Santa's sleigh.
She opened the bit, and I started going, "What are these things? Oh, they're my hands. I can do things with them." And she goes, "Am I seeing more colors than normal?" What? She ran with the bit so well. Like, she's got really great comedic timing, And I was like, the younger generation already because if I try and start a bit with an adult, half the time they're not yes-anding me. No. She was yes-anding me. She was like, yeah, and the snow will never hit the ground because I won't let it. She's running around like catching it all.
So were you there for the crash?
No, I wasn't there for the crash. She clocked out before that.
That must have been a hell of a crash.
Man,
dude.
I was having the best time though. And I was like, you know what? There's something good for this next generation. But then the sorrow came over me because later on that evening when I got home, I opened my phone and I read another article about Panera Bread.
The electric lemonade's back?
Lightning Lemonade has killed a second person.
Old white man?
No. It's a special needs guy who's worked at the Publix down the road from the Panera for 17 years.
Oh, damn Panera.
He's been going to Panera because in his mind, he thought it was the healthier option because that's the way they market.
Yeah.
They also...
It's like going to Subway, then you get molested.
Yeah, exactly. They also don't market that there's a lemonade right here and then the electric lemonade right next to it, which the regular lemonade is just, 800 grams of sugar. But the Lightning Lemonade, I forget the number, and I'm going to exaggerate it, obviously, but
caffeine.
I think there's 400 goddamn motherfucking milligrams of caffeine.
In a regular
Lightning Lemonade or whatever it's called. I don't want to, but whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I felt bad. And
so you gave her a lightning lemonade?
Well, no, I didn't give her a lightning lemonade, but yeah, and I was like, well, she'll bounce
Give
back.
her a monsoon monster.
But now, like, I'm just pulling that for content forever. The kid is so funny. Each week that I interact with her, I'm going to try and content
mine. Now,
well,
here's the thing.
No,
do you have to give her a Monster Energy drink first every time?
No. Not content mine, but a little mentorship on like
encourage
shooting the shit back and forth and like improvising and
that's a good environment to learn, especially for at Huckapoos because there's a lot of witty, quick people there. Yeah, there used to be.
And there used to be. And you build up a thick skin quickly because customers treat you like shit, employees treat you like shit.
And then when you get to school, you're
you're invincible at school. You be dunking on motherfuckers
dunking
at school
all day, just like Mike.
That's all you got.
Yeah, yeah. You'll mostly.
What you can dunk on with?
What's that?
I found a little part of my football game experience. I may have mentioned this before, but I like to drink in the game, but I don't want to spend $744. So I smuggle in a little water bottle with some tequila in it.
Tequila.
And now look, we're wrangling 2 kids. There's 6 in the group. There's a lot going on, and I don't think what I usually do is I put it in a smart water bottle. But I wasn't smart enough to do that. I bought Aquafina, which is a lot girthier bottle.
Yeah, it is.
So I have my belt on regular, smuggle a bottle in wide. But what I didn't do was I shoved that Aquafina bottle in there in my belt.
My belt.
Everyone. My belt. It was my belt. Into my waist. And I start walking and go, this does not feel very good. I need to get inside fast, which I think is why I ran into the turnstile. I'm committing a crime. But as I start to put it in, I turn around, I'm walking backwards, facing my friend's son who fell and was like, don't be like your Uncle Clint and commit crimes.
Oh, and you're pulling down your pants at this point. He's like, what crimes, Uncle Clint? No.
Don't slip and fall right now. Because you know who's going to be doing a lot of slipping and falling coming up soon.
I would think it would be...
Oh, shit. It's the Karen.
You or me?
You, then me.
It's the Karen of the week.
We're here
Oh, shit. The funny thing is, they're not Karens this week. We both have Darrens.
Yeah, they both Darrens,
they're Darrens, yo. Hey, Darren, what's happening, man? Tell me your story.
Yes. So my name is Brett. The Darren.
Okay. All right, Brett. Let's see what you got, Brett.
So, Brett, well, what Brett does have is methamphetamines. Because this guy's back on the escalator. Now, on the Patreon, we'll get into some of the deep criminal history of this man. But we're just going to say this guy, who I grew up with, who my sister's known forever, a lot of us know, you've known him for a long time.
I know him, yeah.
He has yet again been arrested. He spent time in prison. I testified for him in court. He still did. My mom wrote letters to a judge for him, went to court to help him out, and he just can't stop.
You visited this man in prison.
Myself and Fro drove to BFE, West Georgia, which if you're not from the area,
Beaufort, Fort Worth,
there's nothing out there. Okay, like nothing.
Was it Reedsville? Where was it, actually?
It was, no, Reefville's nothing, buddy.
Okay.
I'm talking. It was like by the border almost.
Okay.
It was 3.5 hours away.
Build that wall. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean we're on dirt road for half an hour of that, and
Wow,
so,
yeah.
but
how
he
you
got
know.
arrested for aggravated stalking, and I'll tell the story of what he did to that girl and what he did to another girl later on
the Patreon.
But he got arrested about.
But every time he gets arrested, it's kind of like the same 3 or 4 charges, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Darren.
So he got stopped in May for what I'll talk about the Patreon, what happened, but he got told to stay away from this girl. And we talked about it on the podcast, didn't we, about him reading the diary? We talked about that.
Yeah, I think
we
we did, yep.
Yeah, he broke into her diary and accused her of cheating on him. Yeah. Well, she had that little tiny lock on there. Yeah. But I think he was told to stay away from this female and goes, nope, I'm going to call her a bunch, harass her a bunch, because he got arrested for aggravated stalking, felony, which is a violation of some order normally, or continued harassment of the same person, possession of methamphetamine, and possession and use of drug-related objects. When you've got meth, you've got an object to use it with. There's two. There's a needle.
And a pipe.
And there's a meth pipe. Here's the thing. If you've been calling and harassing someone, I'm sure you could be on meth. But perhaps before the police arrive, you might want to get rid of the meth.
Man, I mean, I
You're
guess.
not thinking clearly.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're in a
Think
state.
clearly on meth? It's like Monster Energy drink for adults.
No, but isn't it like Dr. Drew talks about it? Meth, you go towards the cops.
Yep.
Coke, you
Meth,
go away
towards the cops. Coke, you go away from the cops.
Coke, you go away from the cops.
Heroin, you just lay there. The cops come to you. You don't move at all. This is the next most comfortable this has been in quite some time. We're kind of hang banging it.
Oh, you're good. It's not so itchy.
I might
yeah.
hang out for a minute. But so more on this guy on the Patreon. I'll wear the wig. You won't see. But he's just habitually back on the aggravated stalking escalator. And I'm making you a Darren if you ever hear this or hear about this because you dumb shit. I've tried and tried again to be your friend and try to help you out. And to the point where I was like, I can't be your friend anymore prior to this.
Yep.
It's like, and he just doesn't care about it.
So the
And
bigger.
he's also, what's up with the fat meth thing going on?
Why are meth heads fat sometimes?
I assume it's because of so if you do meth for 5 days
and then you eat for
and
5
you
days.
eat for 5 days, your body's like, well, I remember we starved for the last 5 days,
So I'm
it's still
keeping
running.
all this. Yeah.
But like Jesus, John Belushi, Christ.
Well, I know this from personal experience, knowing your situation with him. You went above and beyond and out of your way, even when he shit on you. To be like, hey, I can help in some way. Hey, I'm going to visit you in prison, even though I could have kept you out of prison.
I'm
going
going
to
to send you hundreds of dollars so you could buy a cell phone to use to call people and do something.
And look, I get addiction, right? Addiction is a thing. I don't blame people for having addictions because I think it's a literal brain disease.
But his substance is abuse.
Yeah,
he's actually abusing people.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. So he was doing the aggravated stalking and the punching of tires.
Yeah,
Meth or no meth.
exactly.
So even when he was
as far as we know, I guess.
As far as we know, even when he was non-methed, you were in his life.
Until I found out about the meth, I was like, I gotta get out of your life.
You were in his life way fucking longer than because he would contact me sometimes, and I'd be like, I've already given up on you, and you haven't even aggravated stalked anyone yet, to my knowledge, or haven't been arrested for it yet.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, he started doing meth while he was in prison.
That was where he picked up his meth habit. Prison.
As someone who was sending him money,
how clean was that cell?
Probably one. I mean, I don't know. Because whenever he got out of jail, I was like, "Why are you fatter? You got out of prison, you're fatter than you were when we went in." Even though I sent you 2 different fitness workout books, you know.
Yeah, when I went, I was such a beefcake when I came out because it was
it's a very high calorie diet in there.
It is, but what if you're doing?
But you have nothing to do all day.
Yeah,
you have nothing to do. Exercise.
You know what I did when I exercised to help my brain out a little bit? I would do laps around a pretty small courtyard, whatever. And each lap, once I got to 2, I would multiply 2 by 3, and then 3 by 4. Each lap, I would multiply what the last lap was by the current lap. So when I would get up to like 120 times 121, I would really slow down a lot.
yeah, I bet. And then you got the meth.
But I was finding anything. You can only read. You know how many books you can speed run in jail?
Oh yeah, nothing else.
It's crazy.
You read 2 books a day.
All right, so my Darren should probably. You've wrapped up. I don't want to stop you.
Oh, well, more on this.
We got way more on the Patreon, which we will be doing tonight. Darren is back on the fucking escalator. And by the escalator, I mean the Porsche. By the Porsche, I mean he wasn't driving the Porsche this night. This night being Saturday night. 2 nights ago from time of recording. The Porsche guy is back on the escalator. And let me tell you something.
Baby.
Let me tell you something. If you haven't been listening to the podcast.
And what does his personalized tag say? HONEY?
Yeah. It's HUNNI. That was already taken. So if you don't know the lore of the Porsche guy, I'm not going to go all the way back through it. But if you've been listening long enough, you know the lore of the Porsche guy. Kelly, you know the lore of the Porsche guy?
I remember.
You've been here pretty long, or?
I've heard the story, yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't, go back. We'll find the episode for you, but I don't want to go back through it. So anyways, Porsche guy comes back. And if I were to
It's
write...
just a short. He's a douchebag.
Okay, I'll give you the
short
shortest.
and sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so I met Porsche guy like a year ago. He comes up, and I overhear him going, well, yeah, I've got a Porsche. And I was like, okay, and then he starts talking about his businesses, and then his girlfriend / paid actress, young, and this guy's probably greasy, Italian-looking, mid-50s, and a 19-year-old black woman with a wig shows up.
Well, I hope it wasn't this kind of wig.
No. And then the second time I saw him, same thing, except he shows up with another young black lady. No wig, though. The second time he gets to the bar, he meets a couple, and he goes, hey, I've got a Porsche. I've got a Porsche if you guys want to take it out for a spin. So he lets this young couple take it out for a spin.
That's when we met him on the podcast.
Yeah, to hopefully fillet or something so that he could go sniff his seats when they were done, Anyway, so that's Porsche guy for you. Porsche guy comes back, and who better than to experience Porsche guy with me than Hockey Joe. Joe Schmidt.
Hockey Joe.
Hockey motherfucking Joe, our main man. Here's how it goes down. Porsche guy comes in. I couldn't have written a better script of what he was going to say to the people around him if I tried, even if I embellished, even if I exaggerated what he would say. Let me paint the picture. We have Porsche guy on the very end. The seats are set up as such that everyone's trying to be under the umbrellas because there's a little bit of a spritz. And it is Porsche guy. Hockey Joe is shoulder to shoulder with him. A friend of mine's boyfriend, whom I just met, shoulder to shoulder with Hockey Joe, and my friend, a girl, not going to name. Porsche guy is talking across Hockey Joe to boyfriend. Hockey Joe sitting there is quietly with the biggest smile on his face. I get a text. He goes,
just the most shit-eating grin ever.
I get a text that says, is that Porsche guy? I said, motherfucking goddamn right it is.
And like Paxton, he instantly responded.
This is before he ever said anything. This is before my man spoke. The very next sentences out of Porsche guy's mouth he goes, once they get to 20, I just don't understand them anymore. I'm into
Porsches?
I'm into SCAD girls mostly.
Oh.
But whenever they get to 20, I just don't think we have anything left in common.
That could have been your quote of the week. But let's not.
It's the quote of the week. It continues. So Hockey Joe's sitting there drinking, soaking, absorbing, osmosing all of this.
This is the bee's knees.
Oh, man, this is the bee's knees. Guy goes to take a break. Porsche guy goes to take a break, and he walks down to the cigarette area. And I see him over there, and he looks at me, and he gives me a nod to come over. And it looks like either the drug nod, right? Like, hey, you want to come do a drug, smoke, whatever. Or, hey, man, let me ask you.
May I guess? Let me ask you.
You're never going to guess what he was beckoning me for.
To ask you a question.
Sort of.
About Hockey Joe.
Nope.
Okay, I'm out.
My mind's wandering.
Do you have any chips?
I walk over. He presents his phone to me, and I'm afraid to look because I don't want to see
anything.
A Porsche schlong. It's some fucking dating app. He goes, which chick should I pick? And he starts swiping. He goes, this one or that one? And I said, I don't use dating apps. I don't have Tinder. I'm a
Renaissance man.
Bartender. No. So I completely shut him down.
I'm a poor bartender.
I completely shut him down. I was like, dude, what?
You should have said the uglier one.
Yeah. I was like, what? No, do you need anything?
And were they under 20?
I didn't look at the fucking phone, bro.
Oh, you didn't look at the phone? Okay.
No, I mean, I glanced at it, but it was just he missed it already. He didn't write it down. Right.
There's no time limit on this.
Yeah, there is. Well, I just made a new rule. So it didn't work with me. So he goes back over. He gets back on the escalator. all of a sudden, his phone is out. He's like, Hockey Joe, dude over here. Oh, so I can tell you, it's Katie's.
We talked about him before. I gave him a shout out. He was our quote of the week 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So he's going down the line, and Katie is like, hey, dude, let's not have your phone in our faces for the next 5 minutes. She turns to her boyfriend. She's like, are you really going to listen to this shit right now? Because Katie, if you know her, I'm not going to say her last name, but if you know her, shit gets spicy real
I'm not going to say
quick.
her last name because I can't pronounce it.
And look here.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Oh, yeah, this is right. Here's the thing. I'm taking this guy's phone and doing something weird with it.
Bro.
Because he's not going to get it back from my hands.
Hockey Joe's had enough. He spent an hour in the shit, okay? He's done
been in
enough.
the trenches.
Oh, man, he was in the trenches, the Mariana Trench.
Our reporter from the Porche Trench.
Oh, man.
Hockey Joe.
So finally he gets out. Dude, Porsche guy slides over closer to boyfriend. About 30 more minutes goes by, and boyfriend is being very gracious. And I thought he was being gracious for the sake of being gracious.
Was it his dad?
So finally Porsche guy's like, hey, grab them some shots and I'm going to close out. Because he had been there since I had gotten there pretty much. But he might not remember, but I've taught him not to fucking try me with like conversations or anything like that. Like he knows. He knows I don't want to talk
like a key incident, I believe. Yeah.
So he goes to pay out and he goes, hey, I put a little bit on the card, but here's $5. His tab was like 64. He put it to 70 on the tab and gave me a $5 bill.
Damn, he almost got to 18%.
Almost.
Oh.
But the way he goes, don't worry, I put the rest on the credit card slip, whatever. Goes to leave. He leaves. Katie turns to her boyfriend. She was like, what in the actual fuck? She was like, how?
That's one F for Katie.
Yeah. She was like, how patient could you be? And he ends up saying something to the effect of, well, I thought I could learn something from him. I was like, learn how to be the most repugnant.
Oh, my God.
You know? But what it turned out to, what I started to glean from the whole thing, what I learned in the aftermath, was I think he was talking about many of his businesses that may or may not exist. So the guy was like, I don't know Porsche guy.
Is it the cheapest Porsche? I want to see this damn thing.
No, it's a good-looking Porsche. It's like white with like the really
Is it like a 911?
I don't know.
We should even have a Porsche off with our Porsche pal.
911. That makes me think of that tragedy. Don't say that. It's like it's white with a nice tan interior. I've seen it.
This guy sounds like a tragedy, unlike 911.
He is. Did it happen though?
Wait, Porsche guy's got one seat in that thing. He can get Brett from jail if he wants to.
They'd be buddies.
You know who else might need some help getting out of jail? A man in a chicken suit, high on mushrooms, banking on cars.
Blew up the chicken man last night.
I love this.
Sheriff, Georgia
Ladies
man.
and gentlemen, Clint King on the scene with the news report of the week.
Sheriff, Georgia man wearing chicken suit, high on mushrooms, arrested after rampage through neighborhood. That's what my voice normally sounds like, but I put this accent on just for you guys.
Yeah, that was an accent.
They said that a Georgia man came afoul of deputies. I didn't make it up.
You shut the fuck up.
I love a good pun.
Look, I know not to believe me, but it's in there. Came afoul.
I want to know that writer. I want to know that writer.
It's me. This was in late November.
FOWL. I love it.
Sheriff, a woman called to report that her ex-boyfriend had basically gone nuts on mushrooms.
Oh, basically. That's not full nuts. That's just basic.
Well, he still had a chicken suit on.
I just got off at Church's. I was holding the sign outside.
The church's mushrooms will mess you the fuck up. So he was beating on passing by cars and screaming and hollering at them. Not on parked cars, as I initially thought about this. He's wearing a yellow onesie-style outfit meant to resemble a chicken. So it wasn't even a good chicken outfit. It was one of the more cheaper Putnam County chicken outfits.
There's some mushroom chicken, all right?
Also, this amateur-ass 47-year-old
That's
Jason.
a hint of the woods. Let me get that.
Yeah, this is a hint.
If you get it, that's a mushroom.
This is a hint of the woods. This man, Jason, 100% kept asking the cops if they were real.
And am I still a chicken, or is that fit?
Once arrested, if he was at that time still laying in his hammock at home and they were not real, they were able to stun this man with a taser, and he was arrested on charge of disorderly conduct, misdemeanor obstruction of a peace officer.
Fried chicken.
Why the chicken suit? That would have been the question I asked. Sill said, unfortunately, we don't know.
And we may never know. It's just like how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3.
We may never know.
32. It's the number for everything.
So they tased him, and he had 1 fried chicken wing.
Yep. And they got him. I mean, hey.
Hey.
Sounds like a slippery slope, honey.
Well, honey, let me tell you something about this podcast that just happened. Snappy, witty, fast-moving,
Indeed.
gliding, very honey-filled.
We'll end it with one more shout out.
Okay.
Shout out to our buddy, Third World Russ.
Third World Russ? Oh, yeah. He's
So,
been
so he lives down in Costa Rica, as the chickens say.
perfect accent.
And thank you.
It's gracias.
Gracias. Por favor. He texted me last night and goes, man, just got home from Boomie's with my pho. Getting ready to put it all together. Boomie's the second best pho in Savannah. Maybe the best overall because I don't have to add many ingredients to there except for some more green onions. But you know, and they have the trifecta, rare beef, meatballs, and chicken. Not all the mushroom chicken, just regular chicken. And he gets home, and lo and behold, he has no meat. So he did what anybody from a third world country would do. To his Vietnamese noodle soup, he added tavern ham.
Oh, I thought you meant he walked out to his backyard and killed one of his chickens.
To ham. I was like, hey man, I always keep that thing on me. I got about 20 meatballs in the freezer.
I got some fish balls
I got
for you.
2 quarts of pho just in case of an emergency. I mean, if the world started to end, I'm just going to go out there and start chugging it. I mean, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But I told him, next time you need meatballs, bro, you come
Holler
on by.
at your boy.
In any storm like there was last night, I mean, because it was, dude, that drive home from Atlanta, white knuckle. I mean, V, thank again for driving the whole way, buddy. Mostly because he just doesn't want to let anyone else drive. But it is, we're listening to the Cowboys game, and like, we're cheering. We're both Cowboys fans. Cowboys beating the Eagles, our biggest rival. Fuck the Eagles. But he starts clapping, and I'm like, whoa, it is right. I mean, it is, dude. All of a sudden, we get almost into like Bryan County, which is 2 counties away, and then you would see the wind in the road, and you would hit the wind, and the car would just go. Doop.
Oh, I love that.
It was terrifying. And then people are. Don't drive with your fucking hazard lights on in the goddamn rain because when you switch lanes, we don't know you're going to do it. That's why it's illegal.
Shout out Billy Morton. That's something he would say.
You can pull over and then turn your hazard lights on. But if you have your hazard lights on and you're going to change, you have to turn them off to change lanes at least. But don't just leave them on and change lanes. You're just willy-nilly going everywhere. Come on, honey.
If you ever need meatballs, go by 107
Meatball Lane.
Something Meatball Lane. See Clint, and you can get your meatballs. If you want to send us meatballs or anything of the like, it's P.O. Box 191, Tybee Island, Georgia, 31328. We're on Instagram if you don't follow already. We're trying to get to 2K. We're on YouTube, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel is absolutely fucking free.
There's a link on our Instagram page.
Yeah, and we put a link in our link tree, and also
every week's post has links to everything.
We're about to do a Patreon, a pretty spicy Patreon. So if you would like to hear those coming up, it is patreon.com/FromBehindTheBarcast. Not only do you get to listen to exclusive content, but you get to help support the show, and you help us pay for equipment and get better cameras whenever we do.
But you know what you didn't help us pay for? Kelly, let's get this week's F count.
I mean, I know.
Clint's at 5. Paxton's at 10.
Hey, double them up, bitch.
Double me up, honey. I knew it. Here's the thing. Unlike our previous producers, Fro was cognizant to never F. Kelly, you may have only said it on the show twice anyways.
Anyways. Yeah.
And you forgot one person. Katie had one. Katie got 1 F.
Now, this first one, since we're so cognizant and aware of it, I mean, that's serendipitous right there, buddy. We did not plan that.
Let's talk about it on the Patreon.
Let's talk about it on the Patreon. We love you, and we'll see you next week or in the Patreon. Beaches!
Let's play out. Let's play out.
Hey, let it play. Let it play. We're going to sit here for the whole thing. We're gonna hang out on it.
Oh, set's falling apart.
You almost broke it. If you broke it this time.
I'm good with stemware. We still haven't had, cheers, to know. I think this thing's been knocked around before, but I don't think we've ever spilled anything on the floor.
No, never.
It had been the honey. It wouldn't go anywhere. We could spill the honey lid open. Kelly would have time to come over here and get it gently under the cameras on the floor. It'd just be, if Kelly dove in and caught it,